Onda Magazine presenta.
Que Onda Houston, how is everybody? I wanted to greet you and introduce you to a special intern at the Houston East End Chamber of Commerce. Her name is Monica Rodriguez. She's just 19 years old, but she's very determined to reach her goals. And she's kicking off our series, Latinos in Higher Education. And Monica, as many Latinos, we face challenges, but we are a resilient population who overcomes. And Monica's here to share us some of her background, her story, and her pursuit in higher education. So, Monica, I wanna, introduce you to our readers and, share with us a little bit about your journey, how you got here at the Houston East End Chamber of Commerce, and you're also a student. She's just a sophomore at her university. So tell us about that.
Thank you, Emita. As mentioned, I am Monica Rodriguez, first generation sophomore in St. Edward's University, located in Austin, Texas. I am from Houston and currently working here in Houston as well.
Awesome, Monica. So, it is the summer vacation, and most of us, at least I was one of those students who didn't really take advantage to pursue an internship in the summer, and you did that. You are an intern here. And can you share with us how did you get to this internship? How did you find out about the opportunity? And what do you do now?
So I found out about the Houston East End my senior year of high school. They have a scholarship available for seniors located that live in the East End. So I applied for the scholarship and I got it. They did an education symposium. They have events for the scholarship recipients. So through there, I connected with the person who gives out the scholarships. I met more people in the East End, and throughout my freshman year in college, I stayed in contact, and closer through the summer, I contacted them, see if they could get me an internship with one of their partners or with them, since I was interested in marketing, and they were like, well, how do you feel about interning with us? And we did a mini interview and I got hired.
Awesome. And you mentioned that something really interesting there, which is keeping in contact with the connections that you made. So would you say that networking is important in higher education?
Yes, networking has been very important, and I think it definitely made a difference between coming into a small office and just like, oh yeah, like I met so-and-so and they told me about this opportunity, versus just Googling it and seeing if maybe there's a chance.
Yeah. And for those people who might find that intimidating, like the fact of approaching somebody who they don't know, what tips do you have for those students who are like, should I approach them? How did you do it?
I think the answer is always yes. You should approach them. It doesn't have to be very formal. It doesn't have to be very complicated. It's just an introduction and seeing how you can work with them and how they can work with you. So for me, I always say hi. I always smile. A smile goes a long way. And just having that initial step of that initiative to go up to them and say hi, they already recognize that. I think a lot of people do recognize how intimidating it is for young adults, teenagers, to take that step, that initiative, that determination that I'm seeking those opportunities. And they do appreciate that. And they do want to stay in contact. And they do want to see in what ways they can help you achieve your goals.
Awesome. And, now you're working here for the summer. Can you tell us a little bit about your day-to-day? What does that look like?
So right now, as someone who from a scholarship got more opportunities, usually come in the morning And the first thing I do is probably do research on other opportunities for young adults and teenagers, seniors in high school. And I update the website from the student resources. So right now there's a bunch of scholarships, internships, volunteer opportunities, and such as that. I'm trying my best to look and see what opportunities that could benefit others as they benefited me. And that usually is my first thing to do. I update the website, and if anything, if there's an event coming up, I usually help set up. If there's small projects that I can work on, depending on membership, marketing, the foundation, which is a scholarship, it varies day to day.
You get ready for work, and you took advantage of that connection that you established. And I want to know, you are a young professional, per se, and you're sort of balancing work. Your college is going to start soon in the fall. What tips do you have for people who want to balance more their work / life and also college?
From personal experience, I think you have to prioritize your college, your education. I know that having a job, whether for financial reasons, for networking reasons, or for other reasons, a job matters to you. But at the end of the day, you are going to college to get your degree. So I would prioritize my grades, my classes. And I think a good way to do that would be to stay organized with everything, seeing where in your schedule. I use Google Calendars a lot. I think it really helped in seeing like, okay, it works best if I work on the weekends and just during the week I just focus on school. And because I also like being involved at school. I like being in extracurriculars. Living in my dorm, it was very easy to just come and go from building to building to be involved. And I did appreciate that. So it was my way.
Awesome. Do you also have like tips to recharge? Like, what does rest look like for you?
For me, I bought a beanbag for this specific reason. I bought a beanbag so I could just chill in my room and watch a movie, read. I also, because I'm not from Austin, before I decided on my college, I had never visited Austin either. I just knew that I wanted more independence, more just, I guess, being away from my family. Not in a bad way, just the independence itself. But I went and explored the city. As a college student, I don't have money. I use the metro system. It would take me 30 minutes to get anywhere, but it got me there. I explored the city, explore different parts, see if there's typical things over there that, like, what does the locals do? Like, here, the Astros, such a big thing. I would go, like, if I was my first time going to Houston, I would go to an Astros game. So doing things that would help me decompress, relax alone. Or sometimes just being with friends. Just, we don't have to do anything specific. We don't have to plan something, but just, being together.
Awesome. So we see basically, and correct me if I got it wrong, you prioritize, your school, your education, but also value rest and, social life as well, because that's also where you establish also connections, right? So, okay, that's awesome. Good to know. And, as a Latina who's also a professional and is away from your family, are you experiencing any challenges, or did you experience any, like, to your journey leading up to here?
I'm not gonna lie, it was very hard itself to choose the college that I chose because of that reason, because I had never been away from my family for a long period of time. bringing itself the idea to my parents that, hey, I might not want to go to college in Houston was already something that they needed to process, that they needed time. And I took the decision because I prepared myself for it. I knew from the very beginning I didn't want to stay in Houston, that I wanted to seek other opportunities, even if at the end of the day I did come back every summer. And even if at the end of the day I come back to Houston for my career, I didn't want to have those 4 years just to be on my own.
Mm-hmm.
When I chose my college, I did it and I paid my deposit, and I didn't tell my parents until the next day, until I was like, you know what, the deposit is secure, they're not going to give me my money back. Yeah. I just hope you know, like, I'm letting you know. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, they could only accept it and see what we could do from there. Mm-hmm. I did put that decision upon them, and they made a plan. They were like, we're gonna call every day. Mm-hmm. And I had to set those boundaries of, like, you cannot expect me to have a certain time every day where you can call me. I don't know what my day-to-day is gonna look like over there. I don't know what my schedule for my class is gonna look. It's very different from high school. Yeah. So I had to set those boundaries of, we can call every other day. We can call once a week. Mm-hmm. And having that trust that, hey, we're still in good terms. Just because I want to leave doesn't mean that you were bad parents. Yeah. Or that I don't love you. Mm-hmm. And towards the end, also financial aid was a very big factor. So they knew that I had worked hard to make those decisions, that if I wanted to leave, it was because I was doing everything in my power to secure that I could leave comfortably and not be worried financially, them for me and me for them. Mm-hmm. So I left. I made a friend here in Houston. I think we met at a church retreat. Mm-hmm. And we were like, hey, like, we were sitting right next to each other. We're like, yeah. What? Like, how old are you? Where are you going to school? And she said, oh, I'm going to the St. Edward's. And we drove to orientation together. Mm-hmm. Because of that one day that we met. Mm-hmm. And we managed every single time that she comes to Houston. She's like, do you want to ride? Yes, I'll go to Houston, visit my parents for a weekend. And it's just those simple connections. We still do our best to see each other. They come to Austin, I come to Houston. Especially for big events like birthdays and things like that. Obviously, it changes. It's not the same. It's not that I can come for everybody's birthday. Every weekend there's something. I cannot make it to that. But I can come once a month. Mm-hmm. I can still do my best to be present in their life, mm-hmm. and let them be present in my life, mm-hmm. without overwhelming myself. Exactly.
I like to me it's very empowering, your definition of boundaries and how you apply those. And, talking to people about what these mean and why they're important for you, like how they work for you. And, with you being, I know you're the oldest in your family. Do you feel like you have to live to certain family expectations? And how do you, if those are difficult, how do you balance that? How do you work with that?
I think there's always going to be those expectations. And I can say for myself, yes. As the oldest, as first generation, as having needs in my home, I needed to step up for my siblings, for my sisters. I needed to step up for my parents, and I needed to step up for myself. And even though there was those expectations, it also benefited me, because I cannot say that I would be equally as determined and as a go-getter mentality if it wasn't for that need to step up and knowing that if I wanted something, I needed to figure out a way to get it.
Great advice. Yeah, great advice. Very, very empowering. And now, now that you've lived over there in Austin for a year?
A year.
What have been your greatest lessons so far?
I think for me, as a Hispanic Latina, I think we're always recognized for being hardworking and for being humble. And, you know, it is important to be hardworking and humble. But I also learned that it's good to learn how to show off yourself and be able to, hey, like, I did this and this is amazing. And you should know that. Because, you know, it might be, if you knowing my accomplishment or you knowing my goals might benefit both of us later on.
Did you feel before recognizing that, were there things hindering you from recognizing that lesson? And how did you like overcome that mentality? Because I see what you're saying, like, you know, the culture teaches us to be humble. Sometimes we're like, yes, I did. You just expect like a thank you, but you don't really like showcase what you did exactly. How did you overcome that mentality? What exactly did you use to?
I think it took a lot of support from people. Again, like, it is the same mentality where it's like, oh yeah, I did this, like, it's great, but it's like people have done better things. Other people do better and things like that. And I had to stop with that mentality of like, it doesn't matter what other people think because this is important. It was amazing and I did it and I want to recognize myself even if somebody else doesn't. And allowing yourself to speak about your accomplishments and in a positive light also allows other people to see it as well and be able to associate that with you. Because when they introduce you like, oh, Anita from Que Onda Magazine, because she's a journalist, because she shared that she was a journalist, not from, I don't know, somewhere.
Yeah. So yes, Monica, so we just heard about your lesson so far in your first year, and you know you have about 3 years left. What are you looking forward to the most in accomplishing those next years?
First, and probably the most long-term goal would be get my degree. I'm hoping to walk that stage and have my parents there with me. More short-term goals that I have, I really do want to study abroad. For the summer or for the semester, we'll see what works out best. But I really would like to experience education in other places or experience an internship in other places outside of the country or outside of the state. For that matter. I think that would be my biggest two goals. I think it would be very eye-opening, not only to be like alone in a different country, but also figuring out what I love, my education somewhere else, and see if that is something, like if that location is better for me per se. Right now, the idea of going into grad school is getting to me. During my freshman year, I worked for a school office, the McNair program. McNair program is dedicated to getting underrepresented groups into PhD programs to masters. And when I told my dad about the job, he was like, so you're interested in getting your master's? And I was like, no, like, I'm getting my bachelor's. And he's like, well, why not?
Yeah.
And he was right, like, why not? And I was like, let me explore those options. Let me see if, hey, going and getting my MBA abroad, something. Just exploring those different opportunities and just being more knowledgeable about them.
Awesome. And for career goals, do you have those yet?
Not yet. I'm still exploring my options. I definitely know I want something in marketing, but I just haven't figured out in what sector or specifics.
And how has your place here, you know, as an intern for Houston East and Chamber of Commerce, has that maybe solidified what you're looking forward to next, or how has it helped you exactly to your career goals?
I think it definitely solidified the fact that I enjoy being in the company. I enjoy event planning. I enjoy all the craziness and organizing that goes into doing things for the community and doing things to network and reach outside of the community. I think it made me solidify the idea that I really did want to go into marketing, that I really enjoyed the event planning that goes into it, the general planning that takes to create an event, to carry out a networking event, the event itself, and the networking opportunities, the day-to-day doing like website updates and things like that, thinking about the design of things. Overall, really enjoyable experience. And
yeah. And, since you did take that opportunity of pursuing an internship, would you say that's something that other students should do?
Yes. I think an internship, especially if it's something that you want to learn about, or maybe you're knowledgeable about the career and just in a different company, it would be very beneficial. I think for me, it helped explore my options, especially because of my high school. I attended Cristo Rey Jesuit, and they had a work study program. So I did have previous internship experience doing marketing at a big company like KPMG, doing finance, EDF Trading North America. Like, I did very different things, and just being able to pick up little things here and there of KPMG showed me the importance of a LinkedIn. As a freshman, I never thought about like, what is that? I have no interest. I don't understand it. But then the more years come and you're like, oh yeah, people are like, yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn, message me. And you realize like, oh yeah, I had that one set up. I just need to get my password. And things like that. It's very big things it's very big things that you learn career wise, but there's also little habits that you also learn, like how to dress professionally, business casual, and things like that.
I see. That's good to know for students, and that's something that you put these opportunities like that. If I understood correctly, you also put on the website, right? Yeah, like is the Mario Castillo one? Did you also list that on the Houston East?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
I recently removed it because the deadline already passed.
Yes.
So I was like, I don't want people to look into it, get excited, and then they realize that the deadline already passed. I try to keep it up to date.
Okay, perfect.
And then there's some that are currently ongoing or that they will open up soon. Internships, they're very weird. Sometimes they open really early in August, or right now even. Right now, there will probably be opening up for next summer.
I see. So what would you recommend for students who do want to pursue an internship? How would it be best for them to be on the lookout for one?
I think, or the way that I have done it before, is just everything that you are interested in, that you're interested in finding out more, write it down. Or I did an Excel sheet. I have an Excel sheet full of internships that different locations, different businesses have, especially because some big businesses have reoccurring internships that they just open it yearly. And it's just about looking at the right time. So by having it jot down already in your Excel sheet, you just set a reminder to, hey, remember to look at this website early August. Later, check in a few days. And at least you don't have to go through the struggle, because that's probably going to be the biggest struggle, just trying to find those opportunities. Once you find those opportunities, it will be just much easier to just check back in and reminding yourself I'll qualify for this in a year. I'll qualify this in a few months once I get my GPA up.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah. Those are really good tips for other people to follow. Like, I wish I had known these tips when I was, an undergrad, but for you readers, we really hope that these help you. And Monica, you're a great example of those, of pursuing those opportunities and, just taking bold choices. And, back to, your internship experience here, it is going to come to an end soon. How are you planning to close that chapter? How are you, we have talked about networking, and how do you plan to keep in contact with the people you've met here?
It's funny because my last week, what I plan to be my last week, we have 3 events that week.
Oh, wow.
So we have back-to-back events. So it will probably not be the most chill week, if anything. It will probably be the more active one, which I'm happy. I enjoy just running around, getting things done and helping people out. So it will be like abrupt in a way, just because it's going back to back up to back and then just like stop, because I do want to give myself a week to go shop for all my college things, essentials, before I actually do drive back to Austin. I do have all their phone numbers. I do have their contacts in LinkedIn. I do have like their emails and things like that, where I know I can reach out to them and ask them questions about things. Or, hey, like, I just wanted to let you know I got this new scholarship, and just like celebrate that with them, because they have seen me grow and they have seen me just be here and share like time and space with them.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that you've had those connections and that you're gonna keep maintaining those relationships, because relationships, they take time and conversation as well, and virtually or wherever, LinkedIn or in person, you're gonna keep those connections, and I'm glad. And as a Latina who's a young professional looking up to graduate soon, is gonna come around the corner. And do you feel like you bring your identity with you to work in a way?
Yes, I think. Well, when you look at me, I don't think I could pass as anything other than Hispanic. So I think even when you look at me, you can say, oh, she looks Hispanic. You can look at my desk and I have little trinkets and things like that showcase my culture. I know that in a workplace, I am a Latina in the workplace. And I am proud to represent that. I want people to look at me and see, oh, she looks like me. And she was able to accomplish that much. I can do even more. Because I want to be that person. Like, how do I say this? I want to look at people that look like me, that accomplish great things, and I want to aspire to them. And in that way, I want other people, younger people, to aspire to be like me, do better than me.
Do you have role models that you look up to?
Yes. I have met people that are of great inspiration. I have met people that even if they're not Latinos, they're still there for me, and they still support me, and put me in contact with other people.
Awesome. So that support circle is also important for you.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Monica, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, your backgrounds, how you got to pursue these opportunities, what you've learned from them. If you could, summarize everything you've learned up to these points, from going to school, from pursuing the scholarship opportunity, and then that connecting you to this internship opportunity. I guess, what would be the greatest lessons that you want to share with our audience?
I think the biggest thing would be to not be afraid. You cannot be afraid of failure and then expect to succeed. I think even through scholarships and other opportunities, you might fail, and that is a possibility. But there's also a possibility that you will succeed, and that you need to keep focused on that possibility. Focus on the positive side of things, and keep your determination and keep going.
Awesome. That's great advice, Monica, and I'm really happy that we've gotten this chance to talk. And thank you so much for sharing your story with Que Onda. Is there anything else you want to add about yourself, or maybe another advice that you might have? No? Anything? Okay, perfect. But, thank you so much, Monica, for your time. I really want to thank Houston East and Chamber of Commerce, to want to give them a shout out for allowing us to come to this space to come and see what Monica's worksite looks like, and get to know all the hardworking people behind us who are just making the East End better. So thank you, Monica, for your time.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you, readers.
Que Onda Magazine presentó